Welcome back, family, to the Back Issue Book Club podcast. I'm Greg. That's Rich. Rich, how are you?
I'm Rich. Yes, I'm fine. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing well. So, we read Kingdom Come.
Yep.
From DC Comics, technically the Elseworlds imprint. So it's not canon. And it was written by Mark Waid and illustrated by Alex Ross.
Mm-hmm.
And it was from 1996. I don't know if I said that, but
no, you didn't. But I was waiting for it because I didn't know.
Yes, that was suggested to us by Hector Ortiz on our YouTube channel. Thank you, sir. And it was chosen as the winner on our Patreon poll. If you want to influence what books we read in the future for this podcast, head on over to patreon.com/teamohana to vote. You can always leave suggestions in the comments, and then we'll take those suggestions and put them on the official poll. Yeah, so this was a little bit different flavor than what we've been reading so far, I feel like.
Absolutely, yes.
What are your thoughts starting off?
Okay, so I usually have me give my thoughts first. Do you want to go first? Do you want to continue the trend?
Let's keep going with what works. How about that?
I didn't want to automatically just assume that I go first. You know,
yeah,
I mean, if it was a buffet, well. I'm going first. Okay, I get that. I'm running in there. I got my plates. I'm going. But I think I would have enjoyed this much more had I known the DC universe better.
Mm.
There are a lot of characters in there I don't know a damn thing about, and they were, I mean, like Spectre is a main character in this, and I didn't even know it was Spectre until somebody mentioned it. I'm like, okay, I've heard the name. What does he do? I don't know anything about these characters. To me, I imagine this would be like a DC only fan being told to read Marvel Secret Wars.
Yeah.
Okay. So I mean, it was a little bit. At one point I just had to say, look, if I don't know the character, just skip it and go on. Just stay with the main focus of the story. The other thing is that I am not as proficient with the English language as most people. I'm a mathematical person. I stink at English. I don't have a big vocabulary. There were a lot of words that were written that I have no idea what they meant. And I'm like, I don't have time to go get a dictionary and start looking these words up to find out what the heck they're talking about.
I did that one time.
There were multiple. I'm like, is that typed correctly? Is that actually a word?
When I said that right there, I didn't mean to be like, oh, I only did it one time. I
didn't take it as that.
Well, I'm also telling people who are listening and watching. I think the word for me was censor, CENSER, and I didn't know that that's what like the little smoking thing the priests walk down the aisle with is.
Well, there's one word for me. Thank you.
Yeah, I looked that one up. So anyway,
yeah. Other than that, the artwork, the storyline, it was slow to get started. Like the whole first issue was okay. I feel like I'm watching the rings move all over again. This is really dragging. But then once it started going into 2 and 3 and 4, I could not wait to get to the next panel to find out what was going on. A lot of it was predictable. I didn't realize it was Billy Batson the entire time. I mean, I knew that the ally of Lex Luthor was going to be, in quotation marks, air quotes, Batman. I knew that he had his own agenda and he was trying to find out what was going on. I knew that Shazam was going to stop Superman from blowing the bomb. And I knew as soon as they walked into the restaurant that Wonder Woman was pregnant also.
Wow. I
mean, I'm like, wow, she gained weight. Oh, she's pregnant. And yeah, and then we have something to tell you, Batman. Without even looking up, you're pregnant. You're pregnant. I'm like, oh, okay, so you saw it too. I don't know what the second thing he's referring to, and it like closed, it like zoomed in on her temple. I didn't get that, but
I don't know. Yeah, I did not see all those things. And I assumed, because this was like an Elseworld book and not canon, that at least I let myself believe that Bruce Wayne had joined. I fell for it, because when they first
Ah.
meet Superman and Batman, Bruce is like, basically, "You asshole, get out of here."
Oh yeah, he's like, yeah, I understand, Clark. My name is Cal. Gotcha, Clark.
For having being able to hear a cell divide, you don't listen very well, you know.
Yeah,
So
yeah, exactly.
so I fell for that hook, line, and sinker, and I believed it when Bruce was teaming up with Lex Luthor. But that made it so sweet to me when it was revealed that he was actually just on a fact-finding detective mission.
Well, when he said we have to go to the next step, and they said, "Do you have a plan? When does Batman not have a plan?" I'm like, yeah. And when he got
True.
introduced, I'm like, oh, this is his plan.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, by the
That's
way,
true.
was it just me, or did I read every line spoken by Batman / Bruce Wayne in Kevin Conroy's voice in my head?
Oh yeah,
That is the
absolutely.
voice forever in my head, man. I love it.
Yeah, legend.
Yes,
Um,
I'm so sad that he's gone, but man, what the gift that he has given to even me, a non-DC fan who's slowly trying to convert. Um, it's wherever you are, sir. Thank you.
absolutely. Um, how do you feel about Alex Ross's art the whole time, not just like a cover?
I'd like to see it on a regular comic book. I read it digitally on my phone.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you
So,
saying like physically on a paper?
well, that's just it. Is you picture the size of a cell phone, and to be able to read the text, I had to zoom in, and then I'd read it and then zoom back out and try to see, okay, so what is it they're referring to? Oh, so what's that minuscule detail? Zoom back in, and zoom back out, and zoom back in.
You gotta get
Um,
a tablet. I think it'll really help.
anyway, look, I just bought a microphone today. Okay,
Yeah, true.
okay,
Also, comic books. All right.
yeah, comic books, yeah.
I don't know if I love it. I mean, so I thought it was really neat, like when he was doing all those Marvel covers of the profiles, and I like it in doses, but I don't think I like it just the whole time.
Now, let me defend him a little bit.
Yeah,
That was 26 years ago.
totally.
His styles change over time.
That's true.
So,
It just seemed like a very brutalist style, like a very Cold War style, or
mhm.
maybe just like 50s style.
And I'm kind of a purist when it comes to comic books. I like the square panels going left, right, down, left, right, down, left, right. And he got the diagonal and slightly offset here, slightly. I'm like, which one do I read first to
There were a
keep the
couple of times
continuity?
where I did that too, and I was like, "Ah, I just spoiled this conversation for myself. Let me go back."
Yeah. I'm like, I would read something like that doesn't make sense. And then like four bubbles later, I'm like, oh, then that was the answer to that. Oh.
Right, right.
So like I said, I'm kind of a purist when it comes to seeing the square, 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 square. I don't want to see it in an Ang Lee Hulk movie, but
Yeah.
but when it comes to like diagonals and partial frames, and this one is before that one, even though it's a little lower on the page, but it's longer, and I'm like, ugh.
So I got a real like ghost of Christmas future past or whatever from Spectre, as
Okay,
he was leading I forget his name, Norman, throughout time.
the priest, pastor,
Yeah,
whichever.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Um I I don't know why he made him make the decision of at the end of who to judge.
Hmm. I think that Spectre used to make his own decisions, but as he said that over time he lost touch with his own humanity.
Right.
So he wasn't able to fully see the visions the way he needed
Oh,
to. He needed an anchor. And I
that's
think
true.
he needed somebody else to call the shots, maybe after all the time that had elapsed, the decades or whatever. Um, he felt he lost the ability to be objective as necessary.
That's a great point.
I mean, there was one point where the pastor, priest, preacher, whichever you want to call him, says that I can't see the specter, but at the comments I can feel him cringe.
Yeah.
So you know that the specter is not being totally objective, because even no matter how immoral a statement would be, a totally objective person would not react to.
Right. You would. Yeah.
It would be more like Owatu, the watcher, going, okay, just taking notes, whatever.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's true. Huh. And how did you feel about the part where the preacher convinced Spectre to allow him to speak to Superman before he was about to kill like the UN?
Oh, that was deep. But like,
That
you
was
want
like
me to
peak
judge? You want
tension.
me to judge somebody? You don't let me stop this. I'm judging you.
All right.
You're the evil one here. You don't let me intercede, or at least try.
All right.
So yeah, that was very, very well written. I like that. Well,
This
I
is
have
like
a question, sir, and
go ahead.
I have
Go
to
ahead.
ask this to you. You read a lot more DC than I do. Okay. You're more into DC than I am. I'm more into Marvel. My vocabulary is not great, but Marvel has never maybe go look up books, look up words.
Mm.
Is DC more intelligently written on average than Marvel?
Wow. If your measure of intelligence is the vocab words, maybe.
My entire vocabulary in my mind, in my brain, in my stored memory, is from what I've read in comics. I didn't do jack in school. I never read on my own. I think I've read 3 books that were not comic books in my life, and I'm in my 50s. Okay, I don't like reading, but I read comic books. And my wonder is, if I had read DC as a youngster, would I have a better vocabulary?
I learned. I have learned a couple words from DC books, and this is like as a 34 or 35-year-old, so it's not like I was 15 or something. I learned the word repassed when I was reading the Yosemite Sam Jonah Hex collision comic.
So to pass a second time?
Repassed is like an old-fashioned word for like dinner.
Okay. Okay, this is like you pass a second
I had no
time.
idea. I had no idea. REPAST. So
yeah, the only time I get to learn new words now is at the gas station when they have the gas station TV and they have word of the day.
Yeah. Or me.
Yes, that's true. It is true. It is true. Do you have a better look? The majority of people have a better vocabulary than me. And to put it into
Backhanded comment.
perspective, well, I mean, where do you place this in regards to the other books that we've read? How do you rank it? Well, the storylines.
So this is number 4. We did Stray Dogs, Green
Mhm.
Arrow, and Wolverine.
Yep.
I think Stray Dogs is number 1. Green Arrow is number 2. This is number 3.
I agree with you 100%.
And then
And
Wolverine.
it's sad because going into this, if I had not read any of them, except when I remembered as a kid, and you said, we're going to read these 4 stories, I would have said, Wolverine's going to blow them all away.
Yeah.
You know, being the Marvel homer that I am here.
I'm proud of you. You're taking these DC books in stride.
Yeah, I'm bending over and I'm taking them.
Well, I was thinking we would go the other way next time, but we can talk
We're
about
going the other way.
that.
Hello. Hello, nurse.
Marvel.
Do you have something in mind? Is it something that I know that I?
Oh yeah. I mean, I was sort of thinking just Secret Wars.
Oh, okay.
What were you gonna say?
Spider-Man versus Wolverine.
Oh, what am I saying? Absolutely. Yes.
Yes, it's your birth book, dude. We
Yeah.
gotta read this book.
Yes, absolutely. And it's a little bit longer, so it's like 2 issues almost.
Yeah, well, which is shorter than the 4 issues we've been reading lately.
Especially this past 4.
And,
yeah.
dude, I didn't see again. I saw this digitally, but is it 52 pages each book? What we just read?
What we just read?
There were 52 pages on each one.
46, 50.
And that's not including ads, man. These had to be square bound books.
46. Yeah, I mean, right around 50 for each of them.
Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll read them before the show. And I'm like, well that's 200 pages I got to read. and I'm not a fast reader, and then I get words that I don't know what they mean. And my wife wants to talk to me, and the dogs want to eat. And I gotta cook dinner. I'm like, this is not working. But I did not want to stop reading. Look, if I knew what it was going to be like after the first, in the middle of, or even towards the ends of the first issue, I may have stopped and said, we'll do this tomorrow. Once I hit issue 2 and it started rolling, I'm like, I can't put this down. I've got to finish this. Okay, so it really wasn't grossing. I may even put this above the Green Arrow series. It's still not as good as Stray Dogs. They're right there. So if you know the Green Arrow series and you like that, and you haven't read, what did we just read? Kingdom Come.
Stray Dogs. Oh, Kingdom. Oh, yeah.
From 1996, I recommend reading Kingdom Come from 1986. Allow yourself a couple hours time.
I'm looking at
Brigosaurus.
Yeah. I'm looking at the page where Shazam is fighting Superman.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really good page where he's like on his knees and he's like, Superman's like getting beat.
Yep.
And he finally puts his hand on his mouth and he's like, enough.
He catches him during Billy Batson mode.
Yes.
If he did that during the Shazam mode, it wouldn't have worked.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's got like blood. This is a pretty nice artwork. A lot. I love this page.
But what was really good is that it really set that up earlier when Superman sliced his thumb on Diana's sword. And said that was, yes. And your weakness has always been magic, Superman. Be careful. That sword can slice the electrons off of an atom.
Right. And Shazam is all about, the wizards are the ones who...
Yeah, he's like, Shazam, 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 Shazam. They're just going to keep getting these lightning bolts down. Boom, 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 boom. I was almost expecting Superman to like just crush his jaw right there because he was losing it.
A lesser man would have. But that's just like, that whole scene right there with Superman. And he was like, listen, up to you, man. You can kill me or you can make another choice. And that got through like the caterpillars in his brain or whatever.
Do you think Superman would have gone on that flying rage to the UN to kill everybody if he saw everybody underneath the bomb dead, all those skeletons, but saw Wonder Woman alive? If he saw her as the sole survivor, would he have freaked out as much? I think it was 50% because everybody was dead and 50% because she was dead because he had already lost Lois Lane.
I was going to say, he's not, come hell or high water, he's not going to accept that a second time.
Yeah.
Because he allowed the Joker to go to like a regular trial, even after he knows he killed Lois Lane. So, he probably harbors some ill will from that. And yeah, I think you're right. I think if he had seen every single person dead except for her, and she was wounded but still alive, he wouldn't have freaked out. And what happened to Magog? You build up this massive superpowered character that's like Superman's equal, except that he will kill people, and then he's sobbing, saying, "I'm sorry about Kansas, take me in," and then I never see him again. Yeah, he just went to the Legion. Went to the Legion of Doom gulag.
But did you see him in the fight?
No, he might have been like somewhere in the background or something, but it was not foreground at all.
If he's the equivalent of Superman, shouldn't he have been a prominent figure in that fight?
Let's tweet Mark Waid. Let's ask
him.
Dude.
And he's like, I wrote that 27 years ago, man. I don't know. Is Magog an actual character in the comics now, or he was made only for that?
I think he was created for that, but it doesn't mean he's not there now.
It's not canon and it's set in the future, so... And look, I'm nitpicking little details about the story. I love the story. I love the way it was presented.
Yeah. And it was very religious. It had a lot of religious overtones or undertones.
I felt bad for the priest when he gets grabbed by Flash and pulled in and like, why do you grab Spectre while you're at it? He's like right next to him.
Yeah, he'll explain everything, sort of.
Yeah, and you got Superman looking at you like, you want to explain yourself?
Right.
uh,
So that was interesting. A lot of the artwork was you, almost you as the priest looking up like this always at a lot of scenes.
Yep.
And there was always like, and that one scene with Superman looking down at him and being like, "Explain yourself." I was like, I feel a little bit scared right now.
Intimidated.
That's the word. Yeah.
Did you ever see Stanley Kubrick's movie? I believe it was from the 60s called 12 Angry Men. They remade it, but it wasn't as good. Stanley Kubrick also did 2001 and A Clockwork Orange. He was a directorial genius, honestly.
Oh, that's the Jury movie.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a fantastic movie.
So the original one, the black and white one, right?
1957, yeah.
Yes. Okay. So one of the things about the way that Stanley Kubrick filmed that was, and I'm going to grab my camera, the beginning of the movie, the camera is set higher up, looking down at the characters. Okay. And as the movie progresses, it lowers down and gets closer. It makes you feel more intense.
Huh.
It builds attention by camera angles. And Alex Ross did this a lot with his artwork in this, with angles and almost like lighting, which is not lighting in something that's drawn, but you know what I'm talking about, shading.
Absolutely, yeah.
To make you feel like this person is over me, is towering over me, or I'm over him. It gives you a sense of the character that's speaking to them, and how they feel intimidated, and he makes you feel intimidated also by the angle of the artwork.
Great point. There's a couple panels where I was just looking at one where yeah, that same one where Superman puts his hand over Shazam. There's a bar panel. Here, I'll share my screen with you.
Cool.
And I'll put it on the video. Oops. Hey. This right here, how the light is like shining like a UFO almost down onto his face.
Yeah.
And you have Spectre in the background there.
It is time.
That's wild. That's a perfect example of what you were talking about with the like the lighting of the art.
Yeah. So much goes into drawing and coloring. No matter how much respect we give to artists, I don't think that we give them enough, because they see the world in a whole different way than we ever will.
Yeah.
And they bring it to us, and we don't even realize we're seeing it.
I know. I mean, so I know this is gonna be unpopular, but like I know we always want the comics to be cheaper, but like some of these artworks are like masterpieces, man. So I don't know. I kind of understand why they're not.
Well, I mean, I'll give you an example of an artist that I love. A lot of people you'll either love him or you hate him. Art Germ.
Mm.
And some of the stuff that he draws, I mean, I'm like, is that a photograph? My God, it's so perfect. And some people don't like its perfection. Yeah, exactly.
My only nitpick with him is it's a little too anime for me with the eyes, but most of it is pretty photorealistic.
Yeah. But as long as he keeps the eyes smaller than Disney, I'm fine.
Yeah. Here's a great one. Supergirl.
Oh, I love that cover. Yes.
I'm just noticing he only does women. It looks like.
Yeah, but he draws one hell of a black cat, man.
There's Shaggy.
That's a guy.
Shaggy, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a guy. I don't care whether it's Shaggy or not. It's a guy.
Yeah. Yeah. We're looking at pictures of Stanley Art Germs covers here.
Yes, these are the women he dreams about at night, and then makes me dream about at night as well. Oh, that Strange cover is still one that I love. I never saw that Dazzler cover before. That's nice.
But anyway, Kingdom Come. What would you give it?
7.
How many? Nice.
I gave it a 7. I would give it higher if I knew the characters better, which is my fault, not the writing's fault. Also, I took at least a half point off because it made me feel dumb. Because I didn't know words. I'm sorry.
It's okay. And your previous point actually makes sense because you probably don't know anything about Martian Manhunter.
I've heard the character name. I don't know anything about him.
That's who Bruce was talking to when he was like, "You've done your job and you've done it today." So
yeah, go and hang out with Red Sands and see stars.
yeah, because he's from Mars.
Yeah, at one point when they first showed Robin, I figured it out later on. I'm like, oh, cool, Batman. Why does he
Me
have
too.
why did
Me
he have a
too.
strange on his chest?
Yeah, I definitely thought that too.
But later on, I see Bruce Wayne with the collar around his neck. I'm like, is this still from Bane breaking his back? I mean, what's going on here?
I took that as just him being
Years and
old.
years of punishment.
Yes, like NFL players, after they're just always in pain, and he probably just couldn't stand up by himself anymore.
But like 90% of the characters that were represented as the backup teams and the Gulag, I don't know. I've never seen them before. I don't know anything about them. I mean, there was a female kid Green Lantern.
In this?
Yes.
A female kid Green Lantern?
Yes. She was on Batman's team. She had the Green Lantern symbol on her chest and was aiming her fist out with a ring, and green beams are coming out of it. So I'm thinking that's a Green Lantern.
Oh, I see it.
Where are we? Which panel? What book?
It's book 3, the back half of the book.
I clicked the wrong one. I clicked 34 like an idiot.
She's in like a robe or something.
White robe. Yep.
Yeah, I don't know I've never seen that before.
But that's definitely a female Green Lantern.
Yeah, Green Lantern symbol and everything.
Yep.
With like a lasso or something. Oh, I guess she's a construct.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It almost looks like she's holding the handle, whereas if it were a Green Lantern, you would the end of the rope would be inside the ring itself, theoretically. Well, whichever it works for. But that's definitely a Green Lantern. And in the beginning, earlier on, Lex Luthor points out to Bruce, "Are you sure that your team will be willing to fight?" I mean, they are the offspring and the youngsters of the. So, and he says, "Well, what don't want to fight with the adults?" So, is this a child of the Green Lantern?
It is. It is. You're absolutely right. You're fucking smart, Rich. This is Jennifer Hayden.
I just don't know words.
She goes by Jade. She's the daughter of Alan Scott, the original Golden Age Green Lantern.
Whoa, cool. Who's the mother? Sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the spot there. I don't
know. Well, she's got a natural born ability. She has all the powers of a Green Lantern without needing a ring. She and her brother Obsidian joined Batman's team. They infiltrate. Yeah.
Wow. So that means she doesn't need to charge it or anything? That's cool. That's really cool. That is cool. Cool.
Yeah. And Alan Scott was, Green Lantern with his armor and everything.
Yes.
Huh. Which is interesting. They went with Alan Scott because they had Hal Jordan as like the waiter or busboy at the restaurant that they went to in the beginning. I'll give it a 7 as well.
I mean, bear in mind that when we say 7, it's not bad. We don't
Yes.
give 10s. Okay, we always leave 10 is that I don't ever want to read another comic book again. This is it. I'm done. I
This
can
is like
die in
we're
peace.
like CGC or CBCS.
Yeah, exactly. Stray Dogs, I think, got my highest rating as a 9. So,
Yeah.
so a 7 is actually a very good number from us. So don't hear this and say, "Oh, shoot, it's only a 7. I don't want to read it." I highly recommend reading this story, especially if you'd like to see where the artwork and the storylines were back in 1996 to see how they've evolved to today's standards.
I actually have a point about that. There was a lot of theory that this was written in response to the bad boy
Bad
emergence of the
boy,
90s, like
bad boy.
Cable and a lot of the Image books were like a lot of anti-hero, the
Yeah,
Punisher kind of style.
Spawn. Yeah.
Yes, a lot of that, like, morally gray. So uh Alex Ross, it was actually Alex Ross's idea to write this. He came from Marvel, writing a book called The Marvels with Kubisek was the
Hmm.
writer. He did art for it. And when his contract was up, he went to DC and he had this idea, and they said, why don't you work with Mark Waid on it? And this is what they came up with to combat that movement, I guess.
The wow. The one thing I can say though is I think the darkest character in this, and they needed saving, was Diana.
It was interesting how you watched her just completely change to like take no prisoners almost.
Yeah, it's like, and it was Bruce that broke through exactly what he's a psychologist, man. He really is. No matter how much you do and how much you overcompensate, you will never earn back what
Oh,
you lost.
that was amazing.
I read that. I'm like, dude, she's gonna kill you. She'll kill you.
I
You know,
love that Bruce throughout all of DC has balls of steel to just tell Diana and people and like Superman right to their face,
yeah. But
you're
what?
wrong and this is why.
But when he said that, I'm literally what came to mind was, you ever see Menace to Society
Oh man.
a long time ago?
I know what it is. I don't think I saw it.
I was watching that with my friends. They had me watch it back. They rented it from Blockbuster. Okay, a long time ago,
Yeah.
and they had already seen it. And I'm watching it. They had me watch it to see my reaction. And they're in the store with I think it's a Korean family that owns the store. And the guy behind the counter said, "I feel sorry for your mother." I hit pause and went, "Oh, he dead." He's dead. You don't say anything about somebody's mother in the hood. I'm sorry. If you said your mother smells, I smelled your mother's perfume. It was so wonderful. It was like roses. What'd you say about my mother? You smell my mother. You're dead. You don't ever mention the word your mother. And when Bruce said that to Diana, I was like, pause. Oh, he dead. I had that same exact feeling as I had watching Menace to Society. I'm like, he a dead man. They already pointed out she's got a sword.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but he didn't back down. He kept penetrating until he got to her core, which is who she was. And
I was right when the jets were approaching. And he was like,
yeah,
"Open your eyes, Diana. Your answer flies on metal wings. Those are nuclear carriers, ultimate war bringers.
I tell
Our
you,
war." Good.
if there were no nuclear bombs coming, he did. She gonna kill him. He did.
It's possible, for sure.
Oh boy.
Anyway, sorry, you were saying with the hat.
Oh, this hat. I was gonna say, for anybody watching the podcast, you can't see me at the moment, but I actually have on. I purchased one of our Team Ohana t-shirts off of our eBay page, and I also got a Team Ohana. Oh, that's not working with the headphones. There we go. We'll go over the top. I have my Team Ohana hat on, and
Yeah.
let me tell you, this look. I'm sorry. I have to. Whichever one of these brings me in closer. Nope, it was this one. There we go. I got this one in teal, and seriously, the artwork that we have on the Team Ohana logo, it fades from one color to another, which didn't work with the embroidery, but thankfully Greg's wife did a wonderful job changing the colors a little bit so that way it does work perfectly with embroidery. So I went onto the to the page for eBay for Team Ohana and picked one of these up. I pulled this out of the box, and Mrs. Ohana she absolutely freaked out. She said, "This is gorgeous with the teal," and on the back it even says our catchphrase "Mahalo." On the back of this shirt it says "Mahalo" also, but I'm not going to get up and turn around. I'm sorry, I'm too lazy. But
Yes.
if you would like to take a look at some of these items that we have on our eBay page, it's Team Space Ohana, right?
Just Team Ohana, one word, and I'll put the link here and in the description. We also have the Submarinera shirt as well,
Yes, which I have that on order.
which I saw you order the Aqua one.
Yes. Yeah, we're not
So-
making money on these things, guys. I actually went to eBay and purchased from eBay my own shirt. So it's the
Yes.
Submarinera shirt. So it's not
Absolutely.
Submariner, it's Submarinera. And I got it in teal so that way you can see the watercolors around them. It shows the hypothetical Marvel character Submariner in a bottle of marinara sauce, not holding a trident. He's got a pasta spoon, and with the hypothetical Marvel font, it says Submarinera underneath it. Because I had a verbal faux pas, Greg ran with it, and it looks funny and cool, and I had to have one.
Yeah.
So this is the first of our, I guess you'd say, really exclusive shirts.
Yeah. I'm gonna pull it up here so you can see it.
Yeah. So, but if you're on the podcast, you can't see it. Yes, there you go. And like I said, I got it in the teal, which is the third picture down. Boom.
It's gonna be one of those things where you're wearing it and you're walking around and people will see it and they'll do a double take. They'll be like, "What?"
Yes, exactly.
It's great because it looks, people immediately will recognize Namor or somebody who looks like Namor and something that looks like the actual trade dress from the original comic,
Yep.
and then they'll be like, "Is that a spaghetti stick?"
Yes, and why is he in a jar?
So,
And let me tell you something. If that all these shirts are the same shirt, right?
yeah, these so far are all the same shirt. I like
Dude,
this one.
this shirt is so soft.
I know, right?
It's such a nice quality shirt. It's better than anything I actually own.
Yeah. So they're made to order. So it's fresh off the press for you.
Yeah, it might
As
take
you
a couple
purchase.
extra days. You're not going to get it in like 2 days or 3 days. It'll take about a week because once you
Yeah.
order it, they have to go and print it.
Mhm.
And all this is actually through Printful, so they pretty much get the money. We don't. We just want to get some shirts out there and have some fun. But yeah, but Mrs. Ohana, she was checking this shirt and checking her shirt and checking this shirt and checking that. She's like, "It is softer." I'm like, "Well, let me check." And then I went to check her shirt, and she's like, "Hey!"
It's for science.
I'm naughty. Yes. She's like, "I knew you were going to do that." I'm like, "You married me for a reason."
Very good.
Okay. So yes, absolutely give this book 2 thumbs up. 7.0 on a scale of 1 to 10, maybe even a 7.5. 7.5 it would definitely be if I knew the characters and I knew the vocabulary. So next week we're going to dumb it back down a little bit. We're going back to Marvel.
Hey, that is okay. Like we were talking about yesterday or a few days ago, AC/DC versus super technical artistry music or whatever.
The Spider-Man versus Wolverine, that's 1988.
7.
87. Okay, I was trying to remember when I purchased it. You were, and I was already out of high school, so I'm an older man. Yeah, I'm an old guy, man. I'm sorry. Just bear in
I'm
mind that
excited, man. I've been wanting to read this for a while, especially now that you've hyped it up. So I'm
I'm
excited.
scared, honestly, because I hyped up Wolverine, and then when I reread it, I'm like, dude, this is not as good as I remember.
If nothing else, it makes for great conversation.
And see how much comic books have evolved and changed over the decades. I
Yeah.
mean, back in 87, 88, this was a great story, but in comparison to today's stories that have evolved, I well, let's see about Spider-Man Wolverine. And
We
hopefully you
could we
really
we could
yeah.
compare it to Green Arrow because that was, I want to say 87, 88
Okay.
because that held up decently.
I'm hoping this one holds up decently. And hopefully also I can find the copy. I don't need you to hopefully I don't need you to send me a digital. Somewhere on those shelves there's a copy of this.
Okay.
Hopefully I can find it. Watch, I'll get a message in relation to this on this video that somebody says, "No, don't you remember I bought this one from you in Calhoun?" So I'll buy a reader copy or something. All right, guys, we want to wrap this up. You brought us in. You want to take us home as well, sir?
Absolutely. Just a little housekeeping. The 7th is Radiant Pink, our exclusive.
It's next week, dude.
By Digging per Course. I know. I need to buy it. I haven't made any purchases yet. And then the 14th, the following week is
That's 2 weeks, dude.
Nightclub. Dude, I need to purchase it. I haven't purchased it yet. So get on that. You can have all kinds of packages, sketches, signatures, no signatures, just the exclusive, 1 in 25, all that. That you can get that at syndicatecomicsshop.com/shop. Pre-order there. You'll get your COA, which are custom designed by Deegan himself, not just blank COA, or not just a cookie cutter COA.
Also,
And
if you would like to have it signed or signed remarked and sent to CGC for a yellow label, that is available, but you just need to contact Syndicate Comics. They have the ability, they've been authorized by CGC to send in comics for a yellow label.
yes.
So they just didn't put that on the websites. If you'd like to have that done, contact us, contact them. Let us know. We'll make sure it happens for you.
Yep. Absolutely. I'm doing that. You're doing that.
Yep.
Yeah. Check out our eBay shop. Check out our Patreon if you want watch alongs. We've recorded a bevy of things lately: Willow, Black Adam, Guardians of the Galaxy. We finished up Andor, which is exclusive Patreon. Woo, there's a lot on there. You get access to this podcast a day early, and you get to vote on where this podcast goes in the future. So, all that said, thanks for putting up with that. We're gonna wrap it up. Thank you, family, and until we see you in the next one. Mahalo.